There it is on your HD screens and back.
Everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal.
You know I like monsters. See in the films built to his scale size. Game system is Jerry style.
Dentists just seem to be crazy about the experience. Walk straight over here, underneath the studio to our side, then take a left-hand turn, underneath the big blue line.
Last call for 3D glass. Raise your hand, we'll get a pair over to you.
I have the room ready for you, Mrs. Barrington. Thank you, Warren.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Barrington.
Not quite, darling, but soon. Very, very soon. Hello. Yes? Every bottle of champagne sent to the room, please. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
That's right, guys. All those scenes were shot right there inside of Soundstage 12. And here's what it looks like on the inside when it's not dressed. It's huge. It's like an aircraft hangar. So we just saw our largest soundstage. Now we're passing by some of the busiest sound stages here on our lot. They're over there on your left-hand side. Sound stages 25, 22, 23, and 24 are home to CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, starring Ted Danson and Elizabeth Shue. You can see that the doors are open over there on your left-hand side, guys. You can see inside of the soundstage. You see what it looks like on the inside. Those are the crime lab sets over there on your left-hand side. You might recognize Brownstone Street from the film Bruce Almighty, starring Jim Carrey.
Grace, the dog!
I'm in the shower!
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great. Beautiful.
Now, some of you folks might recognize this next area we're driving into right now, but for those of you who don't, let me, shall we say, take you back in time. That's right, guys. Welcome back to downtown Hill Valley, California, made famous in Robert Zemeckis' Back to the Future trilogy. But as you can see from your HD screens, this area has been seen in many other films as well, including all the way back in 1962 when it appeared in To Kill a Mockingbird, starring Gregory Peck. off to your left-hand side is the very famous courthouse building set. And there it is on your HD screens at Back to the Future Part 2. I got the producer of Back to the Future, Bob Gale, here along with star Christopher Lloyd to talk a little bit more about this very famous portion of our backlot.
It was actually the back lot of the courthouse square that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had seen something in the clock tower on that ledge. It was a ledge about that wide. And I was standing inside looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo. I just thought there's no way in the world, no way I would have stand all that. I was up there for quite a while. Of course, I had a cable.
Courthouse Square is a perfect example of small town America. Well, what do you say we head to the big city, guys? It's just around the corner. I want to welcome you to our New York street. It's our longest street out here in the metropolitan area sets. And who better to introduce it to us than my celebrity co-host, Jimmy Fallon, live from New York.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. Once got mugged over there. An old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Hey, it's cool guys. I was just, just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
I hope you guys are snapping lots of pictures because we don't normally get to see dressed sets like this up close. Usually these streets are kept undressed in a more neutral state so they can be as versatile as possible for any type of production that wants to come in here and augment it for their needs. And when a production comes in here to shoot, they're going to bring elements like newspaper vending machines, parking meters, street lamps, street signs, actual trees that are growing in our greens department here on the movie studio. And that's all to bring the world that they're shooting to life here on set. Now, besides the Mindy Project, these streets have been seen in many other films and TV shows. Films like The Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, where it was modern-day New York. But it was also in Captain America, the First Avenger, and in that film, it was 1940s New York, so that definitely calls for much different set decorations. On other TV shows like NCIS, TV's #1 drama, starring Mark Robin, use these sets all the time.
And creatures from, prehistoric times. How can I place it? So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife of Skull Island.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Skull Island. 360 3D, the world's largest and most intense 3D experience! The reason we're going through this quiet zone right now, guys, is actually not over here on our left-hand side. It's over here on our right-hand side up that hill. There's a set from Parenthood up there, and it looks a little bit like this. Now, that's not a real house, it's just a facade. I mean, it's just the front and sides of the building. When they want to go inside the house, they have to go inside of a soundstage on our front lot, but that's the exterior set for that house up there. They're shooting out there today. We've got a car from the latest Fast and Furious movie over there on our left-hand side. Flip car from Fast and Furious Part 6. Now, just like in our globe-trotting Fast and the Furious films, out here on the back lot, the world is right around the corner. We're about to take you now all the way across the world to a jungle island off the west coast of Costa Rica. Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
that's right, guys. Welcome back to Jurassic Park. The props and vehicles you're going to see on the left and right side of the tram are the same props and vehicles used in Steven Spielberg and Joe Johnston's film. Check it out. As we're passing by the mobile lab unit over here on your left-hand side, take a close look. You'll see it's not made out of metal, it's made out of wood. And that's not a jungle clip that's being pushed over, it's actually a parking structure right here in the front lot of Universal Studios Hollywood. Oh no! Looks like there's some wildlife left over to make you those films. Don't you worry, guys, it's just corrosive accident. As we saw in our last clip, weather played a very important role in the Jurassic Park films. You always notice whenever a terrifying dinosaur showed up, it was usually pouring with rain. It really helped set the mood of the films. Now here in Southern California, we usually have boring old sunshine day in and day out, so that means we oftentimes have to manufacture our own weather for the movies. But why am I talking to you guys about weather when I've got NBC's own Today Show weatherman, Al Roker? Al?
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry in 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Island Dog. That's the forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the lot.
Now that we're far enough away from the Parenthood shoot, I can turn my mic volume back up to full volume, guys. And take a look off to your left-hand side. I'm going to show you a demonstration of how we create rain for the movies. As you can see, all we do is we pump some water up to a very tall point, like the top of a telephone pole or a roof. Spray the water upwards and outwards, and allow it to fall naturally to the ground. It's a giant sprinkler system, basically. And if you take a look at your HD screen, you see I turned on our live tram camera to show you folks just what it looks like in action on screen. Looks pretty realistic, doesn't it? Now, Cars 3 and 4, you guys are going to be my eyes and ears this afternoon because you can more easily see up that hill on our left-hand side than I can. If that flash flood that Al predicted actually does occur, which I don't think it will, but if it does happen, you guys just give me a bit of a heads up. The oldest portions of our backlot here at Universal. Right now, though, I want to show you guys a very recent Western that was shot right here in 6 Points.
For the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal lot.
I heard this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot here.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff.
Signs, put up a few flags, and then there you are. Here to demonstrate this for us is my celebrity co-host, Jimmy Fallon.
Mi chiamo Jimmy Fallon e tu una grossa patia di vino. Mamma mia! Je m'appelle Jimmy Fallon. Je vais avoir été baguette.
Mussolino! Hallo, ich bin Jimmy Fallon. Ausschnitt
Die steht auf mich.
Thank you very much for that very technical demonstration, Jimmy. Now, you guys have seen our little European streets as the streets of the islands of Port Royal and Tortuga, and all three of Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. They've been the streets of Paris in the latest Muppets movie, the streets of Rome in Angels and Demons starring Tom Hanks. They've even been seen on TV shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David and on True Blood. Now, the vampires and werewolves of HBO's True Blood were not the first vampires and werewolves to stalk the streets of Little Europe. Have those cameras ready, guys, because over here on your right-hand side, you got one of those photographed portions of our backlot here at Universal. This is the Court of Miracles, where all of Universal's classic horror movie stars got their start, including Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
When you think of Universal, we think of monsters.
Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein,
The Mummy.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame, The Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera. Classic films. They're just brilliantly made.
That Frankenstein image, flathead, bolt, it's one of the great icons of the world.
That to me was like the essence of the Universal horror film. And I was just mesmerized by these movies. Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney.
I remember the original Universal Studios Mummy movie really scaring me.
They still ring in our memories now, and we love them.
In the early days of the Hollywood studio system, Hollywood studios were generally associated with one genre of film, which was their trademark. MGM had the musical genre with wonderful films like The Wizard of Oz, starring Judy Garland. Warner Brothers had gangster movies, all those classic James Cagney gangster films. And Universal Studios had the horror movie genre. It's a rich part of our history that we celebrate to this day. Right next door to our older-looking European sets, over here on your left-hand side, we see a modern-looking house. This is not a real house built out here in the back lot. It's a set built to look like a real house. It's currently being used by the talk show Home and Family, which airs on the Hallmark Channel. Home and Family is hosted by Mark Steinis and Christina Ferrari. And that set is what we call a practical set, meaning they can shoot both inside of it as well as final sweep before they open up the beach for tourists. And there's Universal Diver George servicing on your right-hand side. Hey, George, how's it going today? Yeah, I think it's a shark heading towards you. Well, no need to worry, ladies and gentlemen. George is one of our most experienced divers who should be totally fine. That's not good. Well, in unrelated news, we're currently hiring experienced divers here at Universal, so if you feel you're qualified, please see me at the tour floor. I think you have the right idea. Home and Party see safe-looking barrels marked up flammable. We should be fine, guys, as long as the pier stays in one place. See, I think that pier just moved. I'm pretty sure that gasoline shouldn't be just spraying all over. Oh boy. Okay, guys. None of these have been good signs, so I'm gonna need you to be on the lookout for a shark. He's pretty big, he's got lots of teeth, and he's a shark! Guys, I know that shark looks pretty fake up close, but tell me why were you screaming? If you look just behind you, you'll see the only shark in the world that can do the backstroke. I'm very proud of him here at Universal. The shark we have here in the back lot is much more reliable than the one they used on set of the 1975 film. That shark broke down so much that the crew nicknamed the production Flaws. Here to tell us a little bit more about that infamous shark is Steven Spielberg and stars Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Scheider.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrated. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on island, hear the radio news. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, I had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
Now this lagoon area over on our left-hand side is very famous for its terrifying great white shark, and it's also famous for murder because it was the setting of Cabot Cove, Maine on 12 successful seasons of Angela Lansbury's Murder, She Wrote. Right next door to her is a lilac house. That's where Bob and Lee called home. But that lilac house was also 1313 Mockingbird Lane in the original Munsters television series. The yellow house with white trim on our left-hand side is where Susan lived. She was played by Terry Hatcher. She was the detective of the group. Right next door to Susan, you've got another beige house with white trim. That's where Lynette Scavo called home. She was played by Felicity Huffman. She earned an Emmy for her work on the series. Prior to the second season of ABC's Desperate Housewives, the end of the street looked kind of bare, but because of the success of the first season of the show, they built a few more houses in this beautiful little park. We're going to do a U-turn around right now. At the end of the street on your right-hand side, you'll see a salmon-colored house. That's where Edie Britt lives. She's played by Nicolette Sheridan, more recently sold to Renee, played by Vanessa Blaze. Let's see what Mysteria Lane looked like in action on ABC's Desperate Housewives. I'm going to pause it right here, though. Terry Hatcher's jogging down a sidewalk, and your screen's right there. Well, that sidewalk is over here on your right-hand side.
There is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate. It's a good neighbor. Next morning, Edie Britt decided to announce her return to Wisteria Lane.
Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but she's back.
Dr. Seuss in life. Some of the most talented artists in Hollywood worked for months to create a living, breathing movie. When it was all done, they had built an entire city. And the fantasy world of Dr. Seuss became a reality.
The Who's that live out here in the back lot these days have a bit more of a pesky neighbor to contend with than just the Grinch, because they live next door, as I hate to say it, to a psycho. That's right, guys. Welcome back to the legendary Bates Motel set, made famous in Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 thriller Psycho, owned and operated, of course, by Mr. Norman Bates.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
All these picture cars and these soundproof walls, this construction you see over there on your left-hand side, this is going to be for the Terror Tram maze. It's going to be out here during Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to head up the hill here now from where Norman Bates worked up to where Norman Bates lived, coming from these legendary sets. One of the more impressive sets out here on the back lot. This is the crash site from Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise. We're going to pause the tram. When we do stop the tram, please feel free to stand up, look around, take as many photos as you like. While we're stopped here, I've got Steven Spielberg and his longtime production designer, Rick Carter, to talk a little bit more about this very impressive set.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around the vision that Steven had.
When we first began to sit down to talk about the War of the World, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep eyes on me. Eyes on me. Listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Yes. Got them closed? Robbie, get in. Get in.
Well, that is a real 747 that filmmakers purchased and destroyed specifically for this set. They got it for a steal if you're talking jet prices. It only cost them $60,000 when they purchased it from an airplane graveyard up in the Mojave Desert. However, it cost them an additional $200,000 to transport it down here and install it. Jaws: The Revenge, which came out in 1987, but as you can see from this next clip, Falls Lake has been seen in many other films as well. All these scenes were shot right there in Falls Lake, making Falls Lake one of the more versatile portions of our backlot. Recent films that have utilized Falls Lake include Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, directed by Christopher Nolan, Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean 4 on Stranger Tides, as well as Guillermo del Toro's newest movie, Pacific Rim. As we are passing by Falls Lake, it means it's just about time for us to wrap up our tour here today. I want to thank you folks so much for coming out and taking the world famous Universal tour. I want to give a special thank you and shout out to all of our annual pass holders who joined us again here today. If you don't have
scientists provide our herbivore friends with a strictly controlled organic diet, ensuring healthy growth and balance of our ecosystem. Next up on our tour is Happy Soul Cove. Unlike the vicious carnivores inflamed on to our left, the Happy Soul Cove can hide the charming for others. These enormous beasts, like
Sarah, Jerry, she is a believer. This is a good old-fashioned Hollywood blood knife. Sliding blade that goes in and out like that. Hollowed out area that fits right over the arm, and blood that squirts out of the handles just like that. Everybody give Sarah a big old round of applause for her bleeding arm. Lovely job, Sarah. And as a thank you, we've got your husband, Andy, gift-wrapped in a uniform. Hey, Andy. We're going to use both these guys at the end of the show, but for right now, especially because they're on their honeymoon, everybody give them both a big old round of applause for us. Thank you for this wonderful. So you guys go to Justin there in the volunteer section. We're going to see you towards the end of the show. Thank you. And up in the booth, I think we are all set up. So you guys ready for the show to start? Yeah! All right, hang tight. We're going to start in just 1 minute. Get moving! For the last 100 years now.
And during that time, the studio has turned out some of the most memorable movie moments in the history of Hollywood.
Hold on to your butts.
effects have always been to make the audience believe everything you guys see is real.
Today's special effects have been revolutionized by the computer. It's helped spawn a whole new industry known as visual effects.
Sure, Justin prefers visual effects, and they're fine, and the newest special effects. I just prefer practical effects. The earliest effects, like this thing right here. This is the original miniature from the opening sequence of Universal's The Mummy. Check out that clip. It's not CGI, it's this actual model. Painters and sculptors make it look fantastic on the screen. Another fantastic practical effect is this glass mat, which we're going to demonstrate with our next volunteer. Let's give it a big round of applause, everybody. Everybody say hi, Stephanie! Say hey. Hey. Stephanie, thanks so much for helping us out. First of all, where are you from?
I'm from Sydney.
From Sydney, very nice. Let's see if any fellow... Oh, Aussie. By law, they have to do that or we deport them. Now, Stephanie, let me ask you, have you ever dreamed of coming all the way from Australia here to Hollywood to become a big Hollywood movie star? No. Too bad. We're going to do it anyways. Let's get some help here. Jerry, a little help, bud? Yeah. Can you please bring Stephanie to her mark?
Yes, I can. Okay. Right this way. Wingman.
No, it's not a date, Jerry.
Tell her that. She started.
All right, good. Stephanie, get up on that platform. Yeah, go ahead. You're going to be standing on that ledge of a towering skyscraper.
Fred, your towering skyscraper over here only has 3 steps.
That's a good point. Obviously, we can't build a real skyscraper here, but we can use this glass mat to create one. So everybody, take a look at the side screens. We'll get a look at our shot, see what we have to work with. Jerry? Yeah. You're in the shot. Right. What are you doing? Jerry, I think you misunderstand what I mean, buddy. You're in the shot. Yep. Yeah, but you're not supposed to be. Exactly. There we go. Thanks, buddy. All right, now watch. Because this camera only has one eye, it can't tell the difference between near and far or big and small because there's no depth perception. But when that glass mat lines up just right, everything comes together and you get Stephanie looking lovely on the ledge of a towering skyscraper. We have the fan going because fans are also a type of practical effect. We got Stephanie up there looking like a model in a shampoo commercial. All right. Stephanie, here's your story. You are at a posh uptown party when your date starts to get a little hands-on, a little grabby. Kind of an animal, yeah? So you came out here to get away from him. Do me a favor, Stephanie. Arms up nice and tall, stretching luxuriously. Uh-oh. Here comes your date. Scream, Stephanie, scream! Hey. Yeah.
Knock it off. Let her go. Sorry.
Yeah. That's my glass mat. Everybody, let's give Stephanie a big old round. Stephanie was lovely. She did exactly what she was supposed to. Jerry did exactly something else.
Fine, Fred. Watch this. Fred, right here.
Yeah, we're watching.
Watch, Fred.
Yeah.
Fred, right here.
Okay.
Boom! See? That's what I'm talking about.
Actually, I don't see, Justin. We were waiting for a big effect. There wasn't one.
You didn't see any visual effects at all?
I don't think any of us did.
Perfect. The best visual effects are the ones you never see.
Oh.
On TV nowadays, there are more visual effects you're not seeing than ever before. You watch this clip, the only thing real? The actors. Everything else added in digitally. The buildings, the cars on the street, the people on the sidewalks. They're computer-generated enhancements to film scenes that have already been shot. I'll show you how we can do this with our volunteers and just a green screen.
Oh, now green screens don't really have to be green, but they do have to be very bright. Now, a lot of times they're green, but sometimes they're blue or orange. Whatever color we want, so long as it stands out against the performer, right, Justin?
I'm totally impressed you knew that, Fred.
Me too.
Inside of a computer, we can replace the color with anything we want. In this case, we'll replace the color green with a forest. Take a look at the side screens, and let's build a forest behind our actors up there, Al. All right, this is going to add an extra level of difficulty for all of you. Now, you guys have to respond to things that aren't really there. All right, and take a look at the side screen. Picture's looking good. Let's make it sound good up there, Kevin. I need sound effects. Distant waterfall, birds chirping, and crickets. I'm not missing anything, Fred.
Well, you know I like monsters, so...
Okay, I'll give you a monster. Cool. How about this? Jer, come on out, buddy. You are going to be our monster in this scene. All right. Filmmakers use props like this to let actors know where they should be looking. Look at the side screens. That part is invisible. Fred, can you take care of that?
Right. Hey, Jerry. Stand over here, buddy. You're too pretty for the screen.
I know. All right, actors, back to me. You're all marching through the forest on safari, including you, Dad. It's been a long, hard day. Woo, you're tired. When suddenly everything goes quiet. You listen for a distant roar. Listen. Our steps are coming toward you. Oh no, family, hold on to each other. Muscle guys, hold on to each other. Suddenly it's here, look around. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Point at the stick. Point, it's a T-Rex. Don't panic, it didn't see you. Uh-oh, it saw you. Panic, run, get out of there, run, save yourself, come on. Let's hear it for Jerry, though. Here, now. First day, not bad. You did a good job? Yeah, I thought you were fine. Yeah? Fine? Yeah. I think it's a little better than fine. Well, that's a good chicken. I've been going to an acting school, the Fred Cross School of Overacting. Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, if you need any more great stuff and the rest of the show, I could, Jerry, if you want to be part of the show, all you gotta do is ask. Really? Yeah. Can I be in the show? Oh, no, buddy, no. I'm sorry. You want Jerry to be a part of the show? You can be a part of the show. That's nice. Yeah, someone up there loves you. Well, me too. Go backstage, tell the dresser you're doing mocap. Mocap? Yeah. Okay, all right, that's awesome. You guys hear that? Thank you so much. I'm gonna be in the show. Isn't that great news? I'm in the show. Whether some people like it or not, I'm in the show. Jerry's got a lot of attitude today. Visual effects sound like that actually takes months to create. The video that brought you Coraline comes to stop-motion animated feature film Here and Norman, which this little puppet was actually used in the filming for. Back here, we've got a couple more pieces from his world. Now, like most celebrities, Norman looks a little bit bigger on the movie screen, and that's because everything you see in the film is built to his scale size. So, this would be Norman's armature right here, huh? It would be, yeah. That's how the animators move him, is it's what's inside of Norman. Now, the way stop motion works is, once this detail is put into place, then the animators shoot a single frame of film. Carefully move the figure a tiny bit, then shoot another frame of film. Move the figure a tiny bit more, then shoot another frame of film. Move the figure, change the face, whatever they have to do, over and over and over. Now, you do that 24 times, and you have 24 frames, or 1 second of film. Now, let's think about that. There's over 120,000 frames in Paranorman, so check out the clip, because it's a crazy amount of work. Every movement, every facial expression, anything that moves in the scene has to be adjusted 1 frame at a time by hand. Because you can't move those things with a computer. You can't move them with a computer. Nobody can. Good point. Yeah. Although they did use computers, they used a ton of them. The genius of Leica is that they seamlessly combined their new and classic technology to create their movies. Computers were used to visualize Norman's world and everything in it. Buildings, cars, even the puppets themselves, and all of their facial expressions. There were hundreds of these. They had to be produced as separate physical pieces using a special 3D printer. Camera movements, also done with a computer, zooming, panning, and tracking of a single image at a time. Then, once the film was shot, visual effects artists came in, they used computers to add in the digital effects like creepy fog, or floating spirits, and other ghostly effects. So if you were to take all these things that both of us have talked about, mix them together, you'd get Oscar-nominated Paranorman!
I want to give that a few minutes.
And it's crazy how far special effects have come over the years.
Absolutely. Wait till you see what I got lined up next. How about I shed a little light on state-of-the-art 3D computer-generated animation?
By shed a little light, we mean give you illumination.
Illumination Entertainment and Chris Meledandri have given us Despicable Me, The Lorax, and in theaters now, Despicable Me 2. And they are proving that there are no limits to the creative possibilities when it comes to 3D animation.
Those are Jerry's parents.
Would explain a lot.
Sure would, yeah.
Let me show you how the creative geniuses in Illumination bring these little guys to life. First off, take a look at all of these people. It takes a village, or a city full of producers, directors, writers, actors, artists, designers, and technicians just to handle the minions. First, they visualize the story. In the storyboard department, artists will rough out the entire film in a series of sketches, much like a comic strip. Then they'll create what's called an animatic by editing those comic strips together like a flip book. Now, believe it or not, all of this is just the bare bones.
Huh. You know, I wonder if minions have phones. Hey, guys. Oh, yeah? They remind me of us. Really? Next, the actors are brought in to record character voices.
Yeah, baby! Who's back in the game? I'm your new partner. Yay!
I got this next part, Justin. Now, while the story department's busy with the animatics and voice recordings, in the art department, character sets and props are being designed, and then master scenes from each sequence are painted to show direction, lighting, and mood.
That's impressive until you realize once the conceptualizing is done, then it's time to build it. Constructing all these elements takes a lot of time and math, but once the minions are built, they all go to layout. Minions, explain layout for us, please. Thank you. Layout is where camera mechanics, shot lengths, and transitions are all determined. Now, once sets are dressed, it's time for animation, with particular attention being paid toward facial articulation as well as lip sync. And believe it or not, these films have their own special effects department. Everything in the scene that moves, but is not a character, is classified as a special effect, including fire and smoke, or even just wind and water. Anything left, Fred?
Just a little bit, because then it's on to lighting and compositing, where virtual lights are added to the scene. Then finally, everything we've been discussing is composited together to form the finished shot, like you guys see right there.
It's absolutely amazing how all the different parts of this process come together, from art and storyboards, through layout and animation, to final lighting and compositing. Check this out up here. He looks like a naked Twinkie.
Oh, they don't like that joke.
I guess not. No. Maybe this will impress. We've covered in just a few minutes what takes illumination over 1 million man-hours. Or 1 million minions just 1 hour.
Oh, good point. Now take a look at these scenes from DM2 and see if you guys can spot the special effects elements that we've been talking about. Get the others out.
Who's back to save the world? Yay! Let's get this party started.
And that is why Despicable Me has become a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, just take a look at all the languages.
I don't speak any of those.
I don't either, but I read Australian.
Impressive. Thanks, minions! Cute. Adorable. Speaking of adorable minions, here to help us demonstrate mocap or motion capture, y'all wanted him to be a part of the show. Welcome back, Jerry!
Like a minion, but taller and less yellow. Jerry? Yeah? You look like Lady Gaga. Give me the helmet back. Where'd you get this from? Your car. From my car? Can you put this in my car, please? And then put it in my car? Thanks.
Let's bring up the perimeter sensor. Stand in the center for me, Jerry. Right now is a great time to get out your cameras. Each of these reflectors of Jerry's suit reflects light back through a camera to a sensor in a computer. That allows us to capture his movements. Let's bring up the capture on the big screen, please, too. And now these reflectors are marked by a dot on the big screen. So, Jerry, we're going to start simple. I want you to try a T-pose. That just means put your arms straight out to your sides. Okay? This technology is similar to technology you might have in a game system.
What game system is it? Jerry, stop.
Yeah, hey, Jerry.
Yeah.
Everything you do could be seen on the 3 giant screens behind you.
Don't judge me, this suit is itchy.
Take your right hand. I want you to touch the tip of your nose for me, if you would, Jerry. Use your other right hand. Oh, sorry. Okay, now left. Now your right hand. Okay, you can put your arms down. Give me jumping jacks, run in place, just keep moving while we talk, okay?
Hey, Justin, don't get me wrong, this is fine, but you know, it's a theme park. You got something more fun than a jumping jack stick figure there?
It'll get better. How about, well, first off, that's step 1. It's a digital skeleton.
Oh.
Step 2 is then adding in a wire frame.
Right.
Step 3 is also applying a skin. We can use Jerry's movements for anything we want. King Kong, the Mummy, the Hulk, or in this case, a hideous-looking troll.
Yeah.
Hideous-looking troll. You have a club in your right hand, too, Jerry. You just like, boink! Do we have any dance music for Jerry? Oh, yeah. Really? We're doing this? Yeah. This is for their hands. Yeah. Show me your back lot, Jerry. All right, this is for the ladies. Okay.
stop them, he is 75 years old.
Yeah.
As to your point though, Justin, your new visual effects can be just as cool as my old practical ones, so...
We do not say old, we say classic. And remember, classic practical effects are already part of the shot. Visual effects are added to the shot. You put them both together, you get scenes that are out of this world.
And for our final demonstration, everybody welcome back Andy and Sarah! Next to me, and then Sarah will just be next to Justin.
Come on over.
Very nice.
You look fantastic. Are you comfortable?
Yes. Excellent. Now, Andy, I'm sure you figured this out. You're going to be an astronaut in this scene, right? Yeah, of course, no surprise. And I'm sure a lot of people here have dreamed of being surprised when they've grown up. So tell me, have you ever dreamed of going to outer space? No. I'm over too. We're going to do it anyway, so deal with it.
Now, this is your brand new husband over here, right? You're on your honeymoon. Let's give him a round of applause for that. How long have you actually known him?
12 years.
12 years. He kind of took his time with that, didn't he? Now, does he have a fear of heights that you're aware of?
No.
How about a fear of not being in control?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took him 12 years. All right, we're going to shoot our live actor along with our practical spaceship set piece over here.
And then we'll composite that footage in with an HD image of the Earth to give the illusion that Andy's floating high above the planet like you guys see on the side screens. Now, Andy, your job's easy, okay? All you have to do is swim through space to that practical set and open up the space hatch, okay? That's all you have to do. I'm going to talk you through it as we go along, but it's very easy. Really quick, I'll just show you because this latch is kind of tricky. So when you come over here in space, you're going to just turn this clockwise, and then it'll open up like that. Very easy, right? We're ready to shoot, but we need your helmets. Let's get that really quick.
Come on over here with me, my dear. You get to be in charge of the remote control. This remote, come back over here. This remote will control your new husband. You're welcome. You're going to be operating our Fisher flying rig up here. It's a highly sophisticated cable system that helps us create the illusion of flight. With this remote, once he's connected, if you pull that lever toward you, Andy goes higher. Push it away, he goes lower. We also have forward, reset, and rotate. You don't have to remember that. I'll be right here to coach you.
Now, obviously in space, there's no gravity, so we're going to float Andy up weightlessly while his lovely new wife, Sarah, controls him with that lever wirelessly attached to our Fisher rig set up in the ceiling. We got our green screen coming in, so now all we're doing is waiting for a thumbs up from our stage manager. Very important to have clear communication from your crew, especially with a volunteer not trained on a stunt like this, but even on a professional movie set, you have to have clear communication. Even on it's a longer part of this, in fact, but it certainly is one of the more important ones of something like this. So, Andy, before we go down, any last words for your wife before you go out? Okay, good luck with that. He said don't drop him, so cut into that. Okay, looks like I got a thumbs up. Good to go.
All right, ready when you are. Transfer powers out. Grab this lever, pull it right back.
All right, we're going to bring you up, okay?
Wait for it to engage. And that's good, good. Meter's fine. Hold this red button down. We're going to rotate him around.
And you try to get your shoulders back if you can.
Good down.
No shoulders back. Right here. Let me help you.
Right there.
That's a little awkward. Let me help you out. Shoulders back. Good. Not too far back. No. Move too far. And then happy medium. Happy medium. That's where everyone's at. Just like that. Good. Shoulders back. It's a very natural move, right?
Yes, just like an astronaut.
All right, here's what it says. It's going to be Andy in orbit, take one. Here we go, guys. Camera, speed, and action.
Do it. Hold it down. You got to take them all.
You're doing good, Andy. Now, when I tell you, I want you to reach out for that lever. So now you have to... No!
We're going to reset it. We're going to bring it back.
All right. Andy, we're doing it. Wait till I say go. Signing's important. Andy, keep those shoulders back. That's right there. That's great.
Don't do that. You can't cycle the system back.
This is just wait. Camera, speed, and action.
Go for it. Just take it back over. No. Okay, hold on. Bring it back down.
Guys, you're on a sequence.
Okay, hold on, Andy.
I'm going to reset this. Reset it, everything.
Andy, we'll get you down. Okay, everyone stay in your seats. This is a mechanical.
This is not resetting yet.
Yeah, I think we should cut it. Yeah, me too. All right. Andy, we're done. Here.
It's coming in.
Right here, Andy. Sheet down. Graceful. One. You okay? Everybody, let's get it, Andy.
That's so awesome. What a video.
Çıkalım mı? Ne var yukarıda?
Yukarıda mı? Sen mi düşünmüş? Okey. Epeyce şeyler varmış. Büyükmüş sokak.
Đấy mà.
Có cô Thái và nấu cô.
Oh, Chico, yes, I got to start
Is that weird?